So you want to begin building your construction company's brand on social media, but aren't really sure where to begin? Well, you're in luck because today I'm going to be sharing the exact process I use for my construction clients when it comes to building out a robust social media strategy and how you can do the same. Before we begin breaking down my process for building a strong social media strategy, let me first share why you should create one to begin with. Imagine this. A leader tells an office manager, an admin, or an assistant, let's begin posting on social media. So now this individual's tasked with posting content on all their social media accounts. The problem with this is that they have no idea why they're posting to begin with, who they're trying to reach through their content, what to actually post on their content, when and where to post the content, and ultimately how they can actually measure success. And this is exactly why it's so important to have a strong social media strategy, because it gives you the answers to all those questions. It lays out the who, what, when, where, why, and how you're posting on social media. All right, before we go into the actual social media strategy section of this video, I want to caveat that I'm going to be approaching this from the standpoint of a commercial contractor versus a residential contractor. But please keep in mind that there are a lot of the same principles that do apply to a residential contractor, so don't be worried. Now, with that out of the way, let's continue. Here's my strategy for building a strong social media strategy for a construction company. The step number one is to identify your goals. Why are you posting? Is it to improve your hiring efforts and attract more talent? Is it to build your culture and create more connection amongst your scattered teams? Is it to stay top of mind with your clients and prospects? Is it to show your capabilities and expertise as a contractor? Or is it to position yourself as a growing contractor in a competitive market? Regardless of which one you pick, you need to be very specific about what end goal you have in mind. And some of you may be thinking, well, I kind of want to do all those things, and I get it. But the more specific and narrow you get, the better the outcomes will be in the long run. All right, number two is to identify your target audience. Who is it that you would like to consume your content? Is it clients or prospective clients? Is it your employees or even your competitors' employees? If you're a GC, is it existing or potential subcontractors? Regardless of which one you pick, you have to be very specific about who you're talking to. But it doesn't stop there. You need to be even more specific about each category I just listed off. Let's say for your clients, what size or types of clients do you want to engage? For employees, it could be what types of employees do you want to retain and attract? And for GCs, it could be what types of project partners are you looking for specifically? The more specific you can get here, the better your messaging will come across on social media and will attract the right audience. All right, number three is to identify platforms. Where can you reach your target audience? Here's a quick little breakdown of the best platforms for a commercial contractor. The first one on this list is personally my favorite, but just across the entire commercial construction industry is the most used, which is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great for reaching office staff, vendors, and industry connections. Now, Facebook and Instagram are great for reaching both the office and field teams, vendors, and employee family members. So on Facebook and Instagram, you can get exposure to client account brands, but the reality is like the person that's actually managing those platforms are typically a marketing manager, coordinator, or some sort of role like that versus a project executive or CEO or COO that you would typically find on a platform like LinkedIn. Now for Twitter. So I've tried this in the past for a commercial contractor I worked for, and we had it running for a while, but it ended up not working the best. We had a few followers here and there, but very minimal engagement. Twitter in general is great for personal brands and more B2C or business to consumer brands, let's say like a Wendy's. So if you have the same target audience as like a Wendy's per se, then go ahead. But if not, I would definitely stay away from using Twitter or what they refer to now as X. Please keep in mind that I'm keeping out platforms like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or TikTok because video content is a whole different animal. But the good news is that we'll likely have content about those specific platforms in the future. All right, number four is to identify your content. What are you going to be posting? So I use a framework for my clients' content that are made up of three core pillars. There's people, there's projects, and then there's purpose. Here's what people content would look like. Spotlighting a team member, sharing someone's journey into the trades, highlighting a crew for a project win, celebrating an employee for winning an award, showcasing your team at a networking event, and so on. Now here's what project content would look like. An awarded project, unique features or aspects of a project, the groundbreaking, the topping off, the certificate of occupancy, and so on. And finally, here's what purpose content would look like. Your vision and mission, your core values, your impact on your community, your culture, your people development, and so on. When it comes to creating content, if you have these 3 pillars, you'll be in a really good position. Number 5 is to identify your content cadence. When and how often are you going to post? So I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel here. So when it comes to knowing when to post on a specific platform, you can simply Google when is the best time to post on X platform. Could be Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. It will likely give you a really good answer. But knowing that sometimes this information could be outdated, platforms and algorithms could change. For me, I actually like to use my own social media software that actually gives me the best time to post on any given day throughout the year. Now, if you don't want to go with either of those options, here's a good rule of thumb as far as when to post. Posting before the workday starts or right before lunch is a really good time to post, because that's usually when people pull out their phones and look before they either go to work or obviously take a break from work to be able to have lunch. All right, so how often should you post? Here's what I would recommend to a contractor just starting out. 1 to 3 times per week is a good place to be. Now, if you believe that you have enough content for daily posts throughout the week, I would still recommend that you start around the 1 to 3 times per week content frequency, and then from there be able to work up to that 5 or 7 days a week type of frequency. Remember this, when it comes to creating content, you're optimizing for quality and not quantity. If you can do both, great. But quantity solely by itself shouldn't be your goal. All right, number 6 is to identify outcomes. How are you going to measure success? There are many ways to measure success on social media. It could be an increase in reach or impressions on your content. It could be an increase in content engagement. It can be an increase in follower count, but it can also be way beyond the numbers too. It can also be instances like when a client says, hey, they see your content and they really like the content you're putting out. It could also be the types of comments that employees leave about the great culture you have and how they love working at your company. And it can even be a specific follower that you get from a targeted account that you're looking to do business with in the future. But at the end of the day, you need to define what success looks like for you. And there you have it, a complete breakdown of my process to be able to build a strong social media strategy for commercial contractors. Remember that before you begin posting content, it's going to be important for you to know the who, what, when, where, and why you're posting on social media to begin with. So hopefully this video was helpful in breaking down that exact process. All right, here's my question for you. Do you currently have a social media strategy for your construction company? If so, let me know in the comments. And if not, tell me why in the comments. And please don't forget to like and share this content if you found it valuable. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.